Hey guys, Marslingan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so, as always, a new 30-stage EZA is upon us, and so I am doing a team building guide. So, we are finally getting the Super Saiyan 3 BROLY EZA. Unfortunately, you know, everyone kind of knows at this point, he's not that great, even after his EZA. We'll definitely take him into some events and try him out and stuff once we've got him done, but unfortunately, he was probably the 120 leader who needed the boost the most, and his is not all that great. Obviously, we've seen now that Super 17 has his, and obviously Kid Buu has his on JP. Both of them definitely got much more significant increases that make them relevant in the current state of the game, whereas Broly not so much, but I guess we're going to see that, you know, once he's fully awakened and we check him out in some videos. So, the typical 30-stage EZA, can't stun from stage 5 onwards, can't attack lower from stage 15 onwards, and can't seal from stage 20 onwards. Of course, every one of these, when you get to stage 20, a big selection of units takes a huge nerf, and that is AGL, STR, Physical, and Extreme. So, basically, once you get to stage 20 and beyond, the only units that are really going to be doing proper damage is Super Tech and Super Int. So the category is Siblings Bond. Obviously, Super Tech, I guess, being one of the ones they included because the leader is the Gobros, and then, of course, Int is the Type Advantage unit. So if we have a quick look at the Siblings Bond category, one of the big issues that will occur for some people, if you're a newer player or maybe you're someone who just has not been lucky on the banners that they've been featured on, is the fact that the only main leader for Siblings Bond is the Gobros. And as you can see, all those other units are all units that are certainly not quite as good, with nowhere near as high a leader skill. And then as we scroll down, there's not really a lot of LRs that can be featured, because, like, for example, like any of these other ones other than the Gobros are going to be getting the 80% damage nerf. And then there is a huge selection of characters in the category in general, but we are mainly going to be focusing on Tech and Int. So as always, I'm going to go over some of my top picks here. And then we will show off a couple of example teams at the very end. So obviously the Gobros are the main leader. I mean, if you have these guys, these are exactly who you're going to be using. They have the best leader skill. They don't suffer from the damage reduction, and they are obviously an insanely good unit in and of themselves anyway. So they will, the first, I would imagine, probably 10 to 15 stages, these guys will just fly through, especially if they are getting their additional super attacks. You will just absolutely be destroying Broly in those first bunch of stages. So don't really need to say much about them. A backup leader, because I know a lot of people were hyped for him when he came to Global, a lot of people summoned, is the new Tech Gohan that transforms into Ulma Gohan. He is a hybrid Saiyans leader, which of course a lot of the Siblings Bond characters are on hybrid Saiyans. So you could run this guy as a leader and then run a full team of hybrid Saiyans that are in the Siblings Bond category. And then obviously if you can't fill out the team with Siblings Bond units, depending on your box and everything, you can just bring other Super Int hybrid Saiyans, and whilst they won't be getting the full bonus for the damage, they're still Super Int units under a decent leader skill, so they're not going to take crazy amounts of damage from Broly. Once you get up into the higher stages, I guess you might see this guy transform. I guess it depends how far into the event you want to go. Obviously some people like to see how far they can get past stage 30. So I feel like this guy will definitely be good later on. But in the earlier stages, you're probably not going to be getting to like turn 5. And then, of course, if he wasn't on your first turn, turn 6. So even so, he's going to be really good. Put him in slot 1. He can take a hit, guard, obviously get that attack boost and deal some solid damage. So even if you are running the Gobros as a leader, if you have this guy, I would say he's probably an auto-include on the team. So then we have a... I included this guy as an option for like people else to use as like a sub lead. He's been around a lot longer. Obviously, if you're a newer player, I guess that doesn't help as much, but he could be an interesting choice. He's an Int type, Key 3 and 120 lead. So if you really are lacking like a proper siblings bond leader or the tech Gohan, you could just make a full Super Int team and just try and include all of the siblings bond characters that are on Super Int, and then obviously you just have to fill out the rest of the team with any other Super Int characters. They won't be doing as much damage, but if you bring some units that are very good defensively, it won't really matter too much, and they shouldn't get you killed as long as they are Super Int, because they've still got type advantage over him, which is going to be good. So then we go on to a couple of units. This guy obviously is for the siblings bond team build if you're not bringing the Int one. I would say the Int one probably is better, like if you are just running the Gobros, if you can run any siblings bond unit, I would say the Int one probably is better. You can't lower Broly's attack, obviously, once you get past a certain stage, but he does have type advantage. He's an EZA unit. He's very, very powerful. Obviously, this guy has his advantages as well. In an EZA event, obviously, you can't heal, so this guy changing a bunch of orbs and then grabbing them all is going to give you a decent heal back. Plus, of course, he does build up his stats, so if you've picked up a ton of orbs, he's not going to take really any damage, especially after supering. But I do think the Int one probably works out better overall. But if you don't have him, this guy can definitely fill in as a good Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta option. You just can't really use him as a leader. So then we go on to the Int Super Saiyan Kid Goten, who recently just awakened. Now, you're not going to be able to fulfill the secondary part of his passive at the bottom here. You're not going to have another Kid Trunks or a Krillin on the team. So he doesn't get the additional attack and damage reduction. But I mean, he still gets 120% attack. He has 40% damage reduction. He's got type advantage, and he's on the siblings bond category. So, you know, even without getting that extra part of his passive, he's still going to be very good both offensively and defensively. And if you put him in slot 1, he does boost the allies' attack for the turn if he super attacks at the start. So everyone else on the turn is going to be able to do more damage. And of course, he does have a really good link set for the team. So I think he's definitely a unit, even without the secondary part of his passive being able to activate. He's a unit that I would definitely be bringing on my build of the team. So then we go on to Vados. So I put her on here because she's on Siblings Bond and she's Super Int. Obviously we can't really seal and lower attack once we get a certain way through the event, but she does have a 50% chance to dodge. I mean, she's not super weak defensively anyway, but she's got a 50% chance to dodge, and then she provides support to Universe 6, Realm of Gods, Siblings Bond, and Bond of Master and Disciple, and any units that are in multiple of those categories get all of the buffs like totaled up. So obviously going to be useful simply for the fact that she does have the Siblings Bond support, and then if you are running one of the Super Saiyan Blue Vegetas, they also get the Realm of Gods, and then are they both on Bond of Master and Disciple? Yeah, they are. So they will, all the Vegetas, if you do bring a Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta from the ones we've shown, they will be getting 60% attack and defense from this Vados. So I do think if you're bringing a Vegeta and you have her, even if you don't have a Vegeta, she's still going to be giving everyone else 20% attack and defense, which is better than nothing. And she can dodge, so decent enough defensively. She won't get the last part of her passive, but changing a certain type of key to Rainbow, probably not super important on this build. Then we have the Tech Bulla. Again, she's another unit that has a built-in chance to dodge. If you are bringing her and the Vados as supports, actually no, wait, is Vados on Peppy Girls? Yeah, no, she isn't for some reason. So Bulla still gets a 30% chance to dodge, which is good. And then she gives all allies 3 key and 40% attack. Obviously, that's going to be huge for turns with like the Gobros, getting that 18 key super, dealing a ton of damage. She's not super great defensively, but at least she is on Siblings Bond, so she's getting that bonus at least. But she probably would be the weakest link on the team in terms of taking damage, so you just want to hope that you get that 30% dodge RNG on your side. And then she will definitely be very useful in letting everybody else hit Broly just that little bit harder. So then we go on to the Tech Android 18. I'm kind of going over most of the main like Int and Tech units from this category, so I do think she's probably lower on the tier list, but she can be useful. She's got a fairly I guess, substandard now for like top units, start of turn attack and defense. But she changes orbs to tech and then gets a nuking style passive for attack and defense. So if you're picking up a ton of orbs with her, she's not really going to take any damage. She does also raise defense on super attack, so she's going to be tanking even better as long as she super attacks first. Her link's not the best with the rest of the team, but she does change orbs to try and mitigate that issue. So she definitely is useful, probably more as a slot filler. I probably should have moved her page further down the list, but if you're struggling to fill that final spot on the team, she definitely would be usable in the event. Then we go on to Toa. Now, I included Toa because obviously she is the new hotness at the moment, I guess. She is an extreme unit, so she's not going to be doing any damage, and she can't seal or lower attack past a certain stage. The only reason I included her here, obviously she is on the category, so she's not going to be taking crazy damage from BROLY. But she gives all allies 3 key and attack and defense 30%, and it's not limited to extreme like some other extreme support units. So she still is helping out the rest of the team. She gets that extra chance to for that buff to be even higher as well. And then, of course, her passive, based on the HP recovery, obviously the extreme class allies part is not going to be really helpful for your team, because she's probably going to be the only extreme unit if you do bring her. But it's more about the healing part of it. So if you drop below 50% HP and she comes onto the rotation, she heals you 50%. And so obviously, as we mentioned previously, you can't use items in an EZA, so anything that gives you a free heal is always going to be useful. So while she does no damage, in the much later stages, and especially if you want to push past stage 30, she's going to be really good for giving you that free heal, as well as buffing everybody on the rotation. So I do actually think, despite the fact that she will do basically no damage, she probably is quite useful on the team. You could even argue that she'd be more useful than Bulla or Vados just because of the heal. But I guess it depends how difficult you're finding the event based on your team. Because if you're one of those people that you only want to get to stage 30 and then you're done, and you have like the Go Bros and a lot of these units that we've mentioned, you're probably not going to find the event super hard. You might not even drop below 50% HP at any point. So I do think she could be useful, but she's definitely not necessary. Then we go on to Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. So I wanted to include him as well, because he is on Siblings Bond and he's a super int unit. So damage wise, you know, he's going to be fine. The problem is, of course, the secondary part of his passive. You're not going to be able to have 4 or more giant 8 power category allies on the team. But the only thing that does is it gives him the he loses the 40% damage reduction. But he's still attack and defense 140%. He's got good links, and of course he's super int and on the bonus category. So whilst he won't be like the best unit on the team, if you pulled a bunch of copies of him, like for me he is Rainbow, he will still be attacking and defending very, very well in this event. Plus I think it's kind of funny to be using Super Saiyan 4 Gohan against Super Saiyan 3 BROLY. But yeah, he definitely can be good on the team. I know a lot of people were hyped and went in on the Heroes banner, so chances are you did pull a copy or two of this guy. You know, we talked about already in videos featuring him, but how good him and the Bardock are even without Awakenings. He does immense damage, so he'll be very useful on the team, I think. Even if you've sort of built out some of the first lot of units that we've been talking about and you need that final slot to be filled, I think that he would be a decent choice. So then we have the Int Beerus. Now, I did include him. He is well, I was going to say he's probably the worst Beerus in the game, but maybe the AGL World Tournament one is. I'm not really sure. But, you know, super int on the category, does supreme damage, raises defense on super, so he's not going to be taking crazy damage. He doesn't have any defense in his passive, so he's not going to be the best. But, yeah, you know, he could be okay. He is also on all of the categories that Vados supports if you are going to bring her. So, of course, he's going to be getting a massive buff by having those guys together on the same rotation. And then for that same reason, I included the Int Whis as well. Again, like, if you look at his passive, because he's a much older unit, like, he has no attack and defense of his own. So he only gets 20% attack and defense, which is not great. In the later stages, even being a super int unit, he might start to take quite a bit of damage. but he's a decent enough support unit, and he's a really good link partner for Beerus. So if you do, depending on your box and what you have available, you can bring like the Beerus and this guy as a rotation. And like I say, whilst in the later stages it might be a little bit more difficult, they could still work fairly well as a rotation. And then the last one I brought up here to talk about, again, we're talking sort of like last resort now, if you really need to fill that last slot on the team, is the Tech Tapion, solely because he's in the category. Supreme damage, lower attack, obviously can't do that much later into the event, but he does have a medium chance to crit built in, so if you have dupes in this guy and you build him up with a lot of additional, you could potentially get like double supers that will be crits. And he changes orbs, which even if you're going to use him as a third slot floater, which is probably what I would imagine he's best for on this particular team for this event, he could be helping out, like say for example the Go Bros get their super attacks easier because of changing STR orbs to Rainbow. So he could be helpful, but again, I think he's probably a, you know, last resort, you need to fill the final slot on the team kind of guy. So there you go, that is the top picks and honourable mentions. If you think I missed anyone, let me know in the comments, and then we'll jump over to the game screen quickly now and look at a couple of the example teams that I've built. Okay, so jumping over to the team views, this is the team that I will be running. The Go Bros as lead, obviously. Ulma Gohan, Int Blue Vegeta, because as I said, I think he's probably better for the team than the Tech one. The Goten, Vados, and Toa. So like I said, Toa, despite not having the damage output, she's going to provide that support. And then I probably will see if I can go a bunch of stages past stage 30. So her healing is definitely going to come in handy as well. So whilst I think you could quite easily switch Toa and probably even Vados if you don't really care about support, for anyone else, I think the top 4 is what constitutes probably the best part, like the best team build for this event. So then I also whipped up this is the like hybrid Saiyans version if you don't have the Go Bros but you do have Gohan. This does mean you can technically bring the Trunks, right, because he's not on Siblings Bond, but of course if you bring him along, he is still tech, so he can do decent damage. He's not going to be getting the bonuses or anything, but it means you can put him next to the Goten and fully activate both of their passives. Goten you could put in slot 1 because he's in the category and has the type advantage, and then him going off supering, and then Trunks going to super next. Trunks will then get his full damage mitigation, and so then Broly's probably not going to deal a bunch of damage to him. And then I just added in 2 strong super int units, because as obviously only the first 3 units here are in Siblings Bond. So Spirit Sword Trunks makes his own orbs, so he can hit hard and defend decently well as healing you. And then same with Ghost Tanks, right? With his EZA, he's very strong now, and he can heal with Rainbow Orbs. He won't be able to stun, but he will be useful for utility for the team as well. And then the final one, this is the build I talked about. If you don't have either of those guys, but you have the Blue Vegeta, you can make a super int team. We're including the Beerus and Whis setup here, with also Vados for support. And then in Ultimate Gohan, I forgot to talk about him in the main part of the video. He's not the best unit anymore, but I mean, he's super int and he's in the category. He does do immense damage whilst also greatly raising attack, so he can hit quite hard. But as you can see, even with his EZA, he's got one of those passives where he won't get the attack and defense until it's his turn to attack. So in slot 1 he could get hit potentially quite hard, and then even after getting his buffs he only has 40% defense. So he probably should have been in the honourable mention section, but as you can see from the team builds I made, I only put him in here because he was the final super int unit that would complement this team, because he is in Siblings Bond. So let me know what you think of the teams. What are you going to do? Let us know down below in the comments, and then obviously anyone who needs any extra help, let us know in the comments down below. Hopefully other people's examples can help you out, but always feel free to ask if you need any extra help. And like I said at the end of the actual team detail part, if there's someone you think I missed, let me know down below. Also, the link to my Discord is in the description, so feel free to join, as we have team building sections and stuff over there as well. So yeah, that is going to be it for the video, guys. Good luck in the EZA. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.